Welcome to the Heartstrings and Scars, where we unravel the untold stories of love, betrayal, and the life-changing lessons they leave behind. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. We promise you stories that will make you reflect, question, and maybe even see yourself in the characters we share. Now, let's dive into today's story. The glittering lights of the Las Vegas Strip reflected in my tear-filled eyes, each shimmering point a mocking reminder of the vows I'd broken. Just 3 months earlier, my life had been a picture-perfect postcard, a successful career, a loving husband, and a future brighter than the neon signs outside. But one impulsive decision, one clandestine affair, had brought it all crashing down. How did I, Amelia Stone, the woman who seemingly had it all, end up slapped, humiliated, and utterly alone in the heart of Sin City? Subscribe and buckle up, because this story is a roller coaster. Vegas, the city of second chances, of fleeting fortunes, and of secrets buried beneath the dazzling facade. It was the perfect backdrop for my unraveling. My husband, Daniel, and I had moved here 5 years ago, chasing his dream of becoming a high-stakes real estate developer. He'd thrived in the cutthroat environment, building an empire while I climbed the corporate ladder at Titan Dynamics, a leading tech firm. The energy of the city was intoxicating, a constant hum of possibility and temptation. My boss, the CEO of Titan Dynamics, was a man named Rex Kingston. He wasn't just powerful, he was magnetic. Rex exuded an aura of invincibility, the kind that made you believe anything was attainable. He was everything Daniel, in his recent work-obsessed state, wasn't: attentive, charismatic, and dangerous. Daniel and I had been married for 7 years. Our love story had begun like a fairy tale, a whirlwind romance, a lavish Vegas wedding, a promise of forever. But somewhere along the way, forever started to feel like a long, monotonous stretch of highway. Daniel was consumed by his deals, his phone constantly buzzing with urgent calls, his mind always miles away. Do you ever feel like you're living with a ghost, someone who's physically present but emotionally absent? Let me know in the comments. I craved connection, validation, the feeling of being seen. Rex saw me. It started innocently enough. Late nights at the office, strategizing on multi-million-dollar projects. Rex would lean in close, his voice a low rumble, making me feel like the most important person in the room. He'd remember the smallest details about my life, things Daniel had long forgotten. The air between us crackled with an unspoken tension. I knew it was wrong, a dangerous game I was playing, but the thrill was addictive. It was like standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon, knowing one wrong step could send me plummeting, yet unable to resist the pull. One night, after closing a particularly lucrative deal, Rex invited me to his penthouse suite at the Bellagio. He said it was to celebrate. The suite was opulent, overlooking the dancing fountains, the city lights spread out like a glittering carpet. Champagne flowed, words blurred, and lines were crossed. That night, under the seductive glow of the Vegas skyline, I betrayed my husband. What do you think was the turning point? The loneliness? The ambition? The sheer thrill of the forbidden? The affair was a whirlwind. Stolen moments in luxury hotels, secret rendezvous disguised as business trips, whispered promises in the dead of night. Rex made me feel alive, desired, powerful. He promised me a future, a partnership, both in business and in life. I was blinded by the illusion, convinced I was in love. But deep down, a nagging voice of guilt gnawed at me. I was living a double life, a precarious house of cards built on lies and deceit. I should have known it couldn't last. In a city built on secrets, nothing stays hidden forever. Rumors started swirling, whispers in the hallways, knowing glances from colleagues. I tried to ignore them, to dismiss them as office gossip, but the unease grew. Have you ever felt that gut-wrenching dread, knowing that your world is about to explode? The day it all came crashing down was a Tuesday. Daniel had taken a rare day off, claiming he wanted to spend some quality time together. I, however, had a lunch meeting scheduled with Rex at a secluded, high-end restaurant, the Gilded Lily, known for its discretion and its exorbitant prices. As I sat across from Rex, his hand covering mine, the world tilted on its axis. The restaurant door burst open, and Daniel stood there, his face a mask of fury and disbelief. The clatter of silverware, the hushed conversations, all faded into a dull roar. His eyes, usually warm and hazel, were now cold, hard chips of ice. Daniel, I stammered, the words catching in my throat. My carefully constructed facade crumbled. Rex, ever the smooth operator, attempted to regain control. Daniel, this is a misunderstanding. Daniel cut him off with a roar. A misunderstanding? You think this is a misunderstanding, Kingston? My wife, in a private room, with you? His voice was raw, laced with pain and betrayal. The scene that followed was a blur. Rex, the powerful CEO, the man who had promised me the world, retreated, leaving me to face the wreckage alone. He practically sprinted out of the restaurant, a coward in a tailored suit. Daniel's gaze turned to me, and I saw a depth of hurt I never knew existed. "Who are you?" he whispered, his voice barely audible above the pounding of my heart. "I don't even recognize you anymore, Amelia." I had no answer. There were no excuses, no justifications that could possibly explain the magnitude of my betrayal. I had shattered our marriage, our trust, our everything. He walked out, taking this step, leaving me in the middle of restaurant. He didn't speak, he just kept walking. 3 months passed in a haze of silence and regret. Daniel moved out, staying at a friend's condo on the other side of the strip. We barely communicated, except for terse emails about legal matters. The affair hadn't just destroyed our marriage. It had poisoned my career. I was ostracized at Titan Dynamics, the subject of endless gossip and speculation. Rex, of course, had emerged unscathed, protected by his power and influence. Then, one evening, Daniel called. He asked to meet. Hope, fragile and desperate, flickered within me. Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for reconciliation. We met at a small, dimly lit cafe, a far cry from the glamorous restaurants we used to frequent. Daniel looked exhausted, the lines on his face etched deeper, his eyes haunted by sleepless nights. "I've had time to think, Amelia," he began, his voice devoid of emotion. "And I've realized I can't forgive you." The words hit me like a physical blow. I tried to speak, to apologize, to beg for another chance, but the words wouldn't come. "You didn't just break my heart," he continued, his voice trembling. "You broke us. You took everything we built and threw it away for him." The tension in the cafe was palpable. Other patrons glanced at us, sensing the drama unfolding. Then, without warning, Daniel stood up and slapped me across the face. The sound echoed through the cafe. My cheek burned, tears welled up in my eyes, but more than the physical pain, it was the look of utter contempt in Daniel's eyes that shattered me. "That's for every lie, every betrayal, every moment you made me feel like a fool," he said, his voice raw with emotion. "And that's the last time you'll ever see me." He turned and walked out, leaving me sitting there, stunned, humiliated, and utterly alone. The glittering lights of Vegas, once a symbol of hope and promise, now seemed to mock my despair. What happens next? Will Amelia rebuild her life? Will she ever find forgiveness from Daniel or from herself? That's a story for another time. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestion for me. Subscribe for more, and don't forget to share your own experiences with betrayal and heartbreak.